Don't fall for this sweet face, like I did a few days ago. Harley has just turned 4. I bought him when he was 6 months old. He's gone over every obstacle here, and perfectly, since he was a baby. However, sometimes horses wake up on the wrong side of the pasture, and despite the training you know they have, they remind you to be humble. And usually they choose these embarrassing moments for when there's an audience. So, here we are! Before we proceed further on this bridge video, please note it is extremely important to use sturdy obstacles. If your horse gets hurt or has a bad experience because of a flimsy obstacle, you'll have a hard time getting his confidence again. If this is a first ever bridge crossing, or if you're not feeling confident, or if your horse is refusing, I suggest to dismount and lead over. To train your horse to willingly go places for you, you must make the obstacle as simple as possible at first. As with any obstacle, keep him centered all the way through. This means from the approach to the departure. Here are Harley and me, each in our own leading space. I am not in danger of being stepped on. He has plenty of room to navigate. And here is another always. If your horse wants to touch or sniff the obstacle, let him. Once his attention wanders, cue him forward. There is no rush. Allow him to get on the bridge at his own pace. Your job is to keep him straight and focused. Stay even with his head from beginning to end. You'll notice I didn't pull on Harley's head. He has the freedom to look down. He pretty much did this bridge all on his own. I was just there to keep him pointed in the right direction. This is what you want for when you're mounted. I always stop after an obstacle when I'm training or if my horse is rushing. It teaches him to not speed through. For the first time, or if there's problems, and if it's possible, have your horse cross the obstacle the short way. You'll find he will be more willing. If there are further problems, follow a seasoned horse across. I'm giving Harley a long, straight approach. I'm looking forward, which makes my body language tell him to cross this bridge. I've got my lower legs lightly pressing his sides to encourage if necessary. I have enough contact on the reins to allow him to drop his head to look, but tight enough in case he drifts off path. If you feel your horse listing to one side, try leg pressure first. Harley did drift a bit to the right upon exiting the bridge. He will likely repeat this move, so next time about mid-bridge I'll apply slightly more right leg pressure to keep him straight. When training, an obstacle is considered accomplished when your horse can handle it from opposite directions. While very willing and quiet, once again Harley went to the right despite my right leg pressure. So next time I'll also use my left rein slightly to keep him on course. At Perrydale Trails, we have a huge variety of bridges to practice for every level of training. Start with basic bridges and work your way up to more challenging ones. This particular one is long and is a good preparation for the Teeter Bridge. I'm letting Harley take a look by circling first. Obviously he's more interested in everything else, but at least he's been given the opportunity. I try to be consistent for every obstacle. At this stage of Harley's training, I don't want any surprises for him, because that means it could be way more surprise than I want. Just like the first bridge on this video, I gave him a straight approach, allowed him to look, did not rush him. I did keep him focused on his job by looking forward and applying light leg pressure. Your leg aids are very important on a long bridge like this. Especially for those first few times, your horse may decide it's easier to jump off into the river. On the opposite trip over, this was a good example. On any step-down obstacles, you must allow your horse rein as he exits. A horse needs his neck to balance as he comes off a high obstacle. This particular video is great because if I'd had a tight rein on Harley, it would have hurt his mouth as he stepped down. Instead, he was free to use his neck for balance. No pain, lots of gain. Remember Harley's mood I mentioned at the beginning of the video? This colt has never been afraid of anything, but for my video, he is seeing vampire birds flying, hurricane winds blowing, trolls under bridges, bears in bushes, and a blue barrel. Confront and conquer your horse's fears as they happen. It may not be a complete win on some days, but it all helps in the long run. These round bridges are a great design. You absolutely must look forward and use your legs to keep your horse on the curve. It does take coordination on the rider's part. Harley is being so careful, isn't he? It's because I'm helping him when he needs it and leaving him alone when he doesn't. Here we go again from the opposite direction. Harley was more comfortable this way for whatever reason. When I exited, I came toward the middle because both ways he kept drifting to the outside. It's just a little trick that will help for next time. He'll remember that he got to stop and get praises when he came into the middle. You can see Harley is not real comfortable about doing this Teeter Bridge for me. But we've done our homework with all the other bridges and we were successful. Proceed slowly with the teeter-totter bridge. I like to pause about midpoint, then edge forward. It will be a big surprise to your horse when it tips, so be ready. Don't look down, as that will make him more tense. Focus forward with enough tension on your reins that you can keep him centered and keep those legs attached to his sides. Let him have rein when he steps down. With hesitant horses, it's always good to follow a seasoned horse, but you can't do that with a teeter bridge. Here's what you can do though with any bridge. Get two friends with calm horses, position each on either side of the beginning of the bridge. It presents a funnel effect.